If you're somehow amongst the, I don't know, a percentage of people who have been watching my videos for a rather concerning amount of time, you may remember I used to do a series of videos where I tackle random challenges within racing games as suggested by my viewers. It was rather fun, most of the time, but due to other commitments, personal issues, and other such roadblocks, I had put it away for some time and had largely considered it to be amongst my catalog of retired video ideas. However, the bug has bitten, and with challenges in racing games seeing an increased deal of interest, thanks in no small part due to content creators who have in a way made it their specialty, I felt it was worth having another go. And hey, it means it'd be something on my channel other than multiple hour-long Twitch VODs. Before I start really digging deep with new requests, I thought as a way to bring this series back, why not take a look at some of the challenges I've done in the past and see if I can still master them. Of course, this isn't going to be every challenge, as not only would that take far too much time, but due to various changes over the years such as mod sites no longer being in operation, challenges that were not particular hits on my channel, and simply some that I just don't have any interest going back to, I decided to limit myself to 10 challenges throughout the original catalog. So with that, let's take it back and see what's up first. So when I originally did this challenge back in the day, I got a time of 1 minute 13.577 with the Sesto Lamento. And when I was devising doing this challenge again, I thought, well, let's see if I could still beat that time all these years later. What I am instead going to do is to set a new time to see where I stand all these years later, and then try to beat that time. So first, let's set a new time with the Sesto. So all these years later, and I've been able to bring the time down to 0.8 of a second. Yeah, there may have been a slight cut on that final corner, but not that much, I would argue. Anyways, let's see what car will be able to tackle this time. Okay, so first up we have is the Subaru Legacy RS. At just 6,000 credits, this easily meets the threshold for this challenge. And with stats that are pretty damn close to the Sesto Lamento when fully upgraded on the stock engine, mind you, this should make for a pretty comparable lap time, right? Well, let's find out. So right off the bat, I can tell that this thing does not have that same get up and go acceleration like the Sesto Lamento did. So we're gonna have to see if throughout the rest of the lap, if it can make it up in other places. One thing this car definitely does have is brakes. The brakes are, even up with a car like the Sesto Lamento here on the Legacy with the fully upgraded brakes, they are definitely stronger than that on the Lamborghini. Now, the one thing I gotta be careful with this car is this thing does have just the ever, and I mean ever so slight tendency to get the tail out just a little bit. It might not look like a whole lot, but believe me, I can feel the difference when it happens in terms of getting that power down. But now with this track, trying to hug some of these corners as much as I can is ultimately what's going to be for the best, because it tends to help with coming out of those corners and keeping the speed up. Also got to be careful going into the follow through, because if I go too fast, then this thing will understeer. So we're coming up now to the final two corners here. Let's try and make the most of it. That felt good. But it's not going to be enough. That was a 114. I feel like if you optimize it a little bit more, you could probably get a little bit closer, but I think that 112 that I said earlier, that's going to be a pretty tough one to beat. So let's look for another car and see if we can manage it. Okay, so next up we have the Alfa Romeo 155 Q4, which comes in at 7,000 credits, just 1,000 more than the Legacy RS. Whilst it does lack on power a little bit compared to the Legacy and the Sesto, it actually has a bit more torque. And as you can see, all this unique aero, which has the same benefit as the Forza aero, so of course I had to use this aero instead. But let's see how the 155 gets on. Well, immediately I could tell the difference right there. Getting off the line, it is a lot better than the Legacy. It gets a bit of wheel spin and it just throws it down. Definitely an improvement compared to the Legacy, which might just be one of those things that helps this car in the long run. And of course, again, I'm gonna just try and keep this thing as smooth as possible, get it to hug most of these corners as I can. I can go a bit wide here, that's fine. But again, the idea is to try and keep it smooth so that I can keep most of its power down and not get a little bit of back-end action out, because it did happen with the Legacy, and it can happen here too with the 155, as I'm noticing. Now, you might be asking, well, why don't you use advanced tuning to optimize the handling a bit even more with these cars, because then you can easily beat the Sesto's time that way. Well, I ran the Sesto stock, so I didn't use any advanced tuning for that. So to keep it a level playing field, I decided to not do the same. I decided to do the same, excuse me, for the Legacy and the 155. I swear, English is the only language I know, and yet I can't English if my life depended on it. Oh my god. That could not have been closer than I could have even theorized. A 112.725 versus the 112.729 that I did with the Sesto. So there we go. It took just 2 cars to do it, and I only did it by just 4 thousandths of a second, but we've again beaten the Sesto using a car that costs less than 20 grand to start. Let's move on to the next challenge. So a slight difference this time around compared to all those years ago. I'm adding traction control onto the car, so that way it can actually put its power down in the lower gears, because otherwise it's just wheel spin, wheel spin, wheel spin, and more wheel spin. Other than that, everything else is pretty much exactly the same, as once again, it's time to beat 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And hopefully I don't mess it up immediately by going off the first corner. Because knowing me, I'm probably capable of doing exactly that. Okay. Hopefully I'm not going to be here for a while. This is literally my first attempt as I've hit the record button, so I did a little bit of off-screen practicing just to kind of refamiliarize myself with the way the car drives, but other than that, like in terms of actually hitting the record button, this is my first go at this. So for some of these slower corners, I'm not too worried about downshifting a whole lot, because I got enough power to really kind of push it out and just let it go, especially with this car having such slow upshifts. This car's transmission is pretty damn slow, as with annoyingly quite a number of vehicles in this game. It's probably why mods are kind of being made to severely reduce the shifting times, because they got a bit carried away in this game, let me tell you. Also, of course, this time around, I'm using the PCSX2 emulator rather than doing it on actual hardware. A, because it's just more convenient for me that way, and B, thanks to all the work that a lot of people have done over the years, I can now just actually use the triggers for this car, for the left, you know, as L2 and R2 for acceleration and brake, and they work like pressure-sensitive triggers. Not to say that I'm not fond of using the right analog stick for acceleration and brake, which is what I did back then, because, you know, I got used to it. It's something I'm fine with, but definitely most comfortable is just using L2 and R2 here. And then, of course, screw using the those pressure-sensitive face buttons, because every time I do, it's just ow my thumb. I don't exactly know what they were thinking, but in some cases, it probably was fine. For racing games, not so much. So I'm glad we're past those days. So far, we're keeping it relatively smooth. Again, I could do a downshift a second, but again, because of this car is just really slow gears, I kind of don't really want to do that. It's not that it's that much better in the higher gears, but it is still less time overall in the higher gears, so this corner is always one that a lot of times just tends to throw me out, but not today. Ooh. Oh, that could have almost ended really badly if I had cut that a little bit more. Not that I was even trying to, mind you. And there we go. Literally, my first attempt didn't do this for the haha funnies. 254.1. I'm pretty sure that was roughly the same time I did all those years ago. What's next? If you've never played Forza Horizon 3, or even if you have, let me show you the Koenigsegg Regera and its special party trick. Close enough. Anyways, the Regera, if you know about the car, then you'll know that the car has one gear, one speed. It takes this car all the way up to over 250 miles an hour. Now, whether it was a developer oversight, whether they were just assuming it would have the same reaction, or they were just having a little bit of fun and decided to leave it in for everyone else to have fun with, the Regera in this game is capable of also going over 250 miles an hour backwards. In its default configuration, it won't do this. I've applied all the existing upgrades to kind of help it out a bit, but the main thing you will want to change is in the tune setting, go into the gearing and just kind of stretch it out a little bit to around where you see it here, and then that should help you get to about over 250 reverse. If you don't, it'll probably get to around 230 or so. Basically, the three reasons I wanted to come back to this challenge is because, one, it's a pretty interesting challenge on its own, and I thought, man, might as well show this car off since you can't do this in the later Horizon game, so it may have been a trick that may have been forgotten about. Two, the original recording quality on that other video was terrible. My hardware at the time could barely run the game at all well because this wasn't a particularly well optimized game, but nowadays I have much better hardware. And the third reason, I've enabled traction control this time around, because trying to reverse with this car without traction control, more often than not, the rear end's gonna kick out and you're gonna have a bad time. Let's see if we can manage it all this time later. 250. Just shy of about 249 miles an hour there. I have actually been able to get it to about 250 or so. It's a little bit easier to do with the traction control turned off, at least on this particular one. But as we'll see with other ones that I'm going to be going to, I'd rather leave it on because otherwise I'm just going to have a bad time in general. So we're going to take it from the airstrip and we're going to tackle the highway speed trap next. So the only downside to this is that I can't turn off the existing drivatars or the traffic, which the drivatar is not exactly a big problem on the airstrip. It's going to be a bit more of a problem on the highway, especially as we got some of these other traffic that they're going to have to swerve around. So we'll see what we can make happen. $240 miles an hour backwards there. So yeah, that's about roughly 490 miles an hour close. So we're definitely in good shape as we go over to the next two. Now this one might be one of the more difficult ones just because of the slight curves, but West Outback, it tends to be fairly clean with its corners. It's not drastically so, but it might still provide a little bit of a challenge, but we'll see. Whoa. See, again, I can't really do anything about that. Also, can I just say, I think visually, I think Horizon 3 holds up really well. Like the color, like I actually think in some cases I prefer the color grading to this game over 4 and 5. I think just 3 has a very natural just color palette, and I think visually it holds up really nicely. Hold it, hold it, hold it, fuck! All right, I think I've got something here. There we go, 211. that one's hard to do going backwards, so I'll just accept that as my run for that one. But yeah, we're pretty in the clear, I would say, for this last one. Surfer's Beach is going to serve as the last speed trap for this. Now, since this is an actual city area, this one also might be pretty difficult just because of the influx of traffic, but I believe. That's my excuse, is that I believe. Oh, I actually decided to turn there. Could have chosen a better time, damn it. All right, we're good. Okay, about 227 there. So yeah, I believe that's roughly about combined over 920 miles an hour backwards. So yeah, I beat it by a long shot. And hey, finally gave me a reason to play Horizon 3 again, which is one of my favorites in the Horizon series, still to this day. What's next? Okay, so this one is one that I wanted to tackle for a couple reasons. The first reason is because this game is actually now playable on PCSX2 properly. For back when I recorded it a few years ago, I actually had to use my original PS2 because it just wouldn't work properly on emulator. There's some pretty serious game-breaking bugs that basically just made it so that it couldn't be done. But now those have been largely fixed for the most part with these newer builds of PCSX2, so I thought, this gives me a good excuse to try this one again and show it off in much better quality. Second reason is because this is one that I'm kind of giving myself for as a target time. In the original video, the challenge was to beat Chris's time, which was 4 minutes 3 seconds .38, I believe. And in my video, I did a 4 minute .71, I believe it was. So I came really damn close to that sub 4 minute barrier, but just not enough. And that's the thing with me, is that I want to see if I can actually crack the sub 4 minute barrier. That's the goal for this particular, and ultimately why I decided to do this one again. The main thing with this one is just getting a clean run. The clean run is like, or at least as clean of a run as I'm going to be able to get it. And because of how much stuff that goes on in this particular game, it's not exactly the easiest thing in the world. I mostly have to just watch out for the like the waves of traffic, and then just the AI just kind of like erratically driving everywhere, which they have a very high tendency to do in this game, let me tell you. It's nice to see them make mistakes, obviously, but sometimes it comes back to haunt you. And yes, I could have taken that little branching path there, but I don't think you really gain a whole lot from that one, in all honesty. That also allows me to see if I can still get that sub 4 minute without taking it anyways. Ugh. Trying to make a left turn there, and they cut me off by just suddenly appearing in front of me and then stopping their momentum. Actual troll. I was kind of hoping I'd kind of bounce off that little median there, but I completely missed it. You might have noticed I'm not really been hitting the brakes that much, because with this game I find that even with the four-wheel drive car like the Skyline, if you hit the brakes while you're in mid-corner, yeah, you get a bit of a slide, which I guess in some cases for certain corners is probably best, but not exactly what I'm looking for 9 times out of 10. Maybe, in fact, although maybe that being said, it might be for maybe for the best for some of these really tight ones coming up. You could just see the AI pacing there. It's because we got 2 cars here that are some of the fastest in the game. Oh, for God's sakes! And they could easily just propel themselves, whereas I don't exactly have that ability as much because of being in a slower car. Oh, he's dead. He's absolutely dead. That's fine. I can just use that to my advantage. I don't have too much more to go. I know should be able to just how to get there and hopefully do it clean for the most part. I will brush off there because it's easy to do so. Although I will say, I think we're in pretty good shape right now to beat the time. Oh yeah, look at this. I wanted to get that sub 4 minute. There we go. Sub 3:55. A 3 minute 54.78. That's nearly 6 seconds knocked off my original time. So I didn't just beat my target this time around. I thrashed it. What's next? So I remember this one in particular sucked quite a bit when I did it back in the day. It required a lot of configuration for this thing just to get a decent gear ratio set up because of this only being a 4-speed and just having a bad torque curve, meaning that acceleration on this thing is just poor. But alas, I have to do it just because I need another excuse just to be able to say I'm driving the Iron Duke. Still amazes me to this day that of all the Firebirds that Genki could have added to this game, they added the one with the Iron Duke, one of the most pitiful engines that General Motors has ever made, despite its amazingly cool name. So this is how I did the gear ratio setups on stage 3 transmission upgrade. This is how I have it set up this time around. I did quite a bit of test runs off screen to make sure that I can get some sort of understanding of what I'm doing with the gear ratios, because let me tell you, I didn't have that last time I did this challenge against Lemon Flavor. And to keep it consistent, we are going to be using the wand gun out because that's where Lemon Flavor normally drives. Can the Iron Duke duke it out once more? Bright Soup versus fully natural carbon Firebird Iron Duke. But you can see though the way I have the gear ratio set up, I got it pretty decent. Not too much of a slow curve. It's just the most that I'm going to be able to do with it, really. This thing though, actually trying to get this thing to go above 200 with this engine with the upgrades is difficult. Oh, you should have gotten out of the way because I had momentum going there. So I'm going to have to be a bit more defensive now because of that. Because they didn't move out of the way from that. And yeah, I brushed the wall there. The cornering on this thing's just not good enough, so I could have let off a little bit, but it probably wouldn't have helped a whole lot, really. So yeah, this thing can just about hit 200 miles an hour. But there's not a whole lot else in it after that. Just doesn't have enough. Doesn't have enough for it. Oh, he really let off there. Whereas I just kind of kept my foot in it for as much as I could. That's fine because I need that gap. But yeah. So I hope this shows you that with the right gearing setup, you can get a much better results. Do I recommend you use this car with the Iron Duke engine intact? No, you're probably better to engine swap it, but hey, there you go. The Iron Duke reigns supreme once again. So let's go on to the next one. If you happen to know about Gran Turismo 2's arcade mode in Class S, you'll know that the Renault Clio should very much not be in this class. It should be around a Class A car realistically, maybe even Class B. I would probably Class A is more realistic, but if you look at the sort of vehicles that you're paired against with in Class S, you can kind of see particularly the problem and why exactly this car should not be in this class. In fact, if you happen to play on the Gran Turismo 2 Plus mod on the Beta 7 build, this particular Clio is replaced by the Lotus Esprit Sport 350, which is a much more competent car that makes a lot more sense being in the class. So it's interesting to see what modders can do all these years later, but alas, we must use the Clio one more time. And originally in the old challenge video, I did it on Trial Mountain, and my purpose for doing this challenge again was to see if I could find another track to do it on. And this time around, I think I'm going to attempt it on Autumn Ring. Let's see if this track will be the one, or I guess will be the two in this case. Yeah, so there's one car here for sure that I'm most worried about, and that's the roof that's out in front, just because of that thing's acceleration. The Vector is also particularly strong as well, and the Viper definitely has its moments. Thankfully, no Lister Storm. The Lister Storm is one of the other really strong vehicles in the class. But yeah, the roof's really going to be the one I'm going to be the most concerned about. This section I can thankfully at least kind of do a little bit of cutting to kind of just weasel my way through a little bit. Oh, what if... Oh, I got really lucky there that I was able to go for the dive bomb there. So far looking good. Although this is going to be a difficult section. Also going to have to play a little bit of defense. Okay. So far we're looking okay. This is definitely the best I've done a couple of practice attempts off screen, and so far this is my best one so far. Just gotta try and power my way through it. Ooh, the vector's gone off. Okay. It being forced a little bit back is fine. The roof is still going to be the big problem, though, because that thing, when that thing gets going, it is very hard to compete with. All right. Yeah, so far, definitely my best attempt at this. I've never even been in this position after the first lap, so I'm very surprised. And yeah, you could see that roof just coming. Yeah, this Clio I wish had a little bit better handling, but unfortunately it does not. Okay, again, I can just kind of snake my way through here. It's probably not the way I should have done that. That was pretty bad. Yep, I had to play defense. Okay, good. Let's be able to give myself a brief moment. Got cut through the rumble strip just a little bit. Seems like they don't particularly take that section particularly quick, which does help. And yes, I know I'm looking back a lot, but I just kind of have to, I gotta play defense. If I absolutely must. Yeah, so far, I think, so long as I can keep it together in this last bit, I might be able to have this. Really wish I had a bit more grip. Alright, well, here's hoping I can make it to the end. That roof will be coming, though, but I think we've got it. Yeah! Alright, well, I found a second track. Looks like this one you're gonna have to be pretty aggressive with if you're really gonna get that result that you want, but hey, it's doable, and that's the good thing. We gotta use this in order to beat this. I've been looking forward to coming back to this challenge, and it's gonna be interesting to see if I can still manage to do it. It's not that it was too necessarily difficult, but, you know, it's one of those ones that can definitely put you on the edge of your toes if you don't know what you're doing. Even if you do know what you're doing, it will still put you on the edge of your toes, is what I really should be saying. No shift assist, we do not want that. Anyways, let us commence. It is so nice to be able to see those cutscenes in their full glory now on modern PCSX2 that used to be broken for the longest time. Anything that wasn't the game's like natural color, like the little color filters they put over it, was broken for the longest time. That's why in the original challenge video I just skipped it altogether. But now it finally works properly at PCSX2 through hardware mode, so we can now watch it in its intended glory. So that's why I left it in this time around. Just in case it's been a while since you've last played this game and you just needed to see it again. You just wanted to see it. And yeah, let me tell you, he's being an ass right now. Ugh, that's not good. It's fine. There's still plenty of distance to go. Don't want to be grinding on the wall there. Ow. It's a good thing this isn't an SP battle right now, let me tell you. It's a good thing they didn't make it an SP battle in the actual game. Because that would have been just sadistic, I think. Okay, now look, so long as I can get a properly good run going for a bit, I should be able to find that opportunity for the pass. All right, brief bit of pavement here. I'm just gonna go for the dive bomb. Oh, yeah. Very aggressive, but it worked. Sometimes it takes driving like an asshole to get things done. Please note, I do not recommend doing this in actual proper multiplayer racing. Unless they're being an asshole to you, in which case it's all open game by that point. Now I gotta make sure I gotta stop driving like an asshole, because now the job for me is to try and defend the position. Sometimes they get screwed up in that jump section. But the key word is sometimes, and unfortunately, it wasn't the case this time around. I really had to kind of do the block there, but it worked. It's one of the difficulties about doing this, especially as you go later on, because you see that tire thing fill up, and it fills up quick. And unfortunately, this is a car that I can't change the upgrades on. When you borrow a friend, like a companion's car, no matter who it is, that's pretty much it. You can't do any changes to it. You just gotta run it as it is. So in the case of Emperor Speed's car, gotta run it as it is. Would be the exact same thing if I was running Kaido President's car right now and the roles were reversed. Okay, we're almost there. Just gotta focus. Gotta focus. All right. Yep. Went easy. Oh, they hit the wall. They blew their opportunity and we got it. Nice. I thought this was gonna actually take me a few more attempts than it actually did, but hey, I'm not complaining. We're not quite done yet with this game. We got another one that we gotta tackle. A much more difficult one if you happen to remember. This time, we gotta use this in order to beat this. If you don't happen to know, in Drift 2, the car that we're using, they drive on a fully paved course in their battle. Just like the previous two, Blackout here drives on a rally course. So, would you like to guess the sort of tires that the Skyline I'm going to be using has? I think you can see where this is going. This is easily a tougher one. It was one of the toughest challenges I remember doing, at least one of them, that I somehow completely lucked out when I beat. Do I think I'm going to be able to do it this time around? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out, is there? Yeah, sorry, no cutscene this time around, but that's mostly just because it's a much longer one in comparison. So the thing with this car is we have to be gentle with this driving around it, because it does not take much at all to get this thing sliding about. It really doesn't. So I have to be very, and I mean very careful with it. Whereas Blackout, on the other hand, with their Evo 3, with their rally setup, they don't have to worry about that as much. So yeah, as you can see, I am just taking it real easy. The one positive that this car has is that it is fast. It is very fast. It's just keeping it under control is going to be the real challenge. But so far, we're hanging in there. Even if I'm being gentle, we are actually hanging in there, which is nice. And see, it was about to go loose on me, so I had to let off. Because otherwise, I would have been going around, I think. That's why I'm keeping it in the higher gears, so that way the torque band doesn't just suddenly kick in and send me around. Now this is the one bit here that that's actually beneficial to this car, and sadly the only one we're gonna get. Again, on the course that you face them in a regular battle, it's a fully paved course, so they don't have to worry about stuff like this. But here, where we have to deal with off-roading, yeah, we're definitely in a more difficult scenario, to say the least. You can see here, I'm just trying. I'm really trying to put the throttle down, and it just wants to kick loose, even on that straightaway bit there. It really doesn't take much. That's why I'm keeping it in the higher gears, because that way it at least mitigates the sliding, or at least as much as I'm going to be able to. And you can see that thing it wants to bite. It wants to bite. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Oh, they're defending again. They're trying to block. This might be lost. Just concentrating. Go! Yes! We still have a chance. Concentrate. All right, we could do this. We got this. Hell yeah! That was literally first go. I am genuinely stunned, and that makes me really damn happy. Let's try to keep this momentum up, shall we? Last time I did this challenge, it was with a stock Porsche Carrera GT. This time, we're using a stock Mercedes-Benz SR McLaren with a red paint job and some lowered window tint. But other than that, everything performance-wise is stock. So with that, let's go ahead and tackle Razor one more time. So the one thing I really gotta have to watch out for is, in this particular one, is the speed trap. Now, if I get lucky with a lot of these, I could probably, you know, benefit off of it. But what I'm gonna try and do is try to play defense on this, so that they're being forced in a way to slow down. That way, when they go through these speed traps, they're not getting enough speed from it to really benefit. If they start falling back, then then I'll just let that happen, because that, the further back they are, the more speed they'll lose, final speed they'll lose at the finish, which will also come in handy. Oh yeah, he didn't. Oh yeah, we're already doing good. He didn't particularly do this second one particularly very quick, so we've already got a little bit of a lead going already. By the way, people want to see me try and do this with like other vehicles. I'd be willing to look into them, but I can't imagine they particularly would go over very well. The reason I used the Carrera GT first time around, and the reason I'm using the SLR McLaren this time around, because at least I know that these vehicles, even in their stock forms, have enough get up and go to the point where it's not really gonna be any sort of detriment. Oh dear, that's not gonna help. I've got a decent lead at least, so I can probably afford at least one of those. Oh yeah, we still got a healthy lead right now. In good shape, I'd say. That one's just hard to do. Yeah, they did shorten the gap a bit, but we still have that lead, and that's the important thing. I thought I was gonna smack into the middle there, which would have killed all my speed, which I don't want. Ugh. You can just see how, like them just kind of snapping into place. Oh shit, that could be the deal breaker. No, wait, hang on. The difference is only 3? Yeah, okay, we're safe. Because of me still being ahead and them being back, they lost their advantage and 1 down and 4 to go. So this is probably going to be the hardest one, the drag race, because again, I have no nitrous that I can use to my advantage. They can, so, and you can tell that because this is technically not the first take. Ooh, that actually kind of worked. I was able to get them off me for a little bit. The main thing I gotta watch out is not to smack into any other traffic here. So I know they're gonna go this way. Yeah, there we go. Good block. Good block. Watch out for any of this going on here. Oh god, I was gonna try to go for it again. Good. Might have forced them into that one, but hey, if it works, that's what I'll have to do to get it. So now on to the more strenuous, like longer part of this. If you're curious, by the way, that was 3 attempts in total that I did for the drag race. It's, the previous 2 were just, I crashed out because, again, the drag races in this game are honestly terrible. So at least it didn't take me too long to get through them, but still, would have been nice to have gotten in the 1 try, but not that I was expecting it in all fairness. And yeah, you can just see how that car just absolutely takes off. Oh my god. Trailer jump scare. That could have ended a lot worse, but thankfully did not. Ooh, another trailer. It's fine. It's fine. We just gotta keep it clean from this point out, and we should be able to catch up to the bastard. This car does not quite have that same handling prowess as the Courier GT did. This thing is definitely more lackadaisical in the corridors. It's still good, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same as that Courier was. Oh, they really slowed down here. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Geez, that little shrub there took off more speed than I was thinking it would. One of the reasons why sometimes it's if you're about to get into a situation to kind of save yourself a bit, is why it's good to hit the speed breaker, because then you won't brush off as much speed. If it's something you never knew about, then it's something you hopefully know now, because trust me, it definitely comes in handy. Whoa. Oh wow, they knocked that thing over. Unfortunately, it seems like Razor did not get affected by that, so no, never mind. No, you stay back. Ugh, sharp corner. Oh, you bitch. You bitch. Now, of course, here, if you know about speedrunning, you probably know about that little spot there, but to play it fair, I ain't gonna be doing that. Alright. Stay back. I was hoping they'd hit him head on. Again, a lot of this just requires me to be playing defensive is all, but if that's what I gotta do, then that's what I'll do. Ooh. Come on, stay back. Yes, 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 yes. Good, good, good. Just, oh, jeez, they get right up to you sometimes. Just gotta keep them at bay. It's not the best shortcut, but it still is one. Oh, they fucked up. Looks like they got stuck there a bit. Okay, good. And that's at a pretty good point too, because of how far we are in here right now. So long as nothing crazy happens, we should be able to have this one in the bag. Ooh, careful for the log truck. All right, perfect. 3 down. Just leaves 2 more. The only circuit of the bunch. So this should be interesting to see if we can keep that momentum going. Again, I've had to do a lot of blocking because that's about as much as I'm going to be useful for. I don't have the advanced upgrades to make this thing even faster, and I don't have any nitrous, so I can't just use like any bursts of speed. I just got to rely all on my driving ability and my ability to defend the position. Just all I can do right now is my best, and that's the key. Whoa. Very close. All right, through here, because I knew they were going to take it as well. Whew. I was cutting it real close there. Thought I might have been a goner there for a second. Ooh, on the inside. Yep. All right, good. So far, looking good. So I know it's going to be coming up pretty shortly, so I'm going to be wanting to take that. I'll mention it when I get there. Should be just in a moment. Big jump. Whoa, Jesus. Okay. All right, so here's the part. Because 9 times out of 10, Razor will take this shortcut. This is a pretty substantial shortcut, so you want to take this. Because a lot of the time, see, you can see it right there on the map. They're taking that shortcut. You want to be taking that shortcut. Because it cuts a lot of time. And when you're in a vehicle like this, where upgrades are set to 0, anything you can do to give yourself that little bit of benefit is worth taking. Minus the one that I mentioned about the little sneak shortcut from the previous one that I mentioned briefly. Oh, jeez. Keep it. Okay. Not the best, but could have been worse. 2 more laps. Thankfully, right now, we've got a decent lead. He's back there, but he isn't... Oh, dear. He is not really gaining tons, but that might change in just a moment. Whew, jeez. Really got to do my best to try and not hit the traffic. Yeah. Yep, there they are. Oh, they're running hot. They're running absolutely hot. Yep. Defend. Oh dear. Ah, no. The door was too open for that one. So hopefully I can rely on them slowing down at some point. Jeez. You mind cooling the jets on that thing? It's my car, technically. Oh dear. I don't want pizza right now. I did that purposely just so I didn't get as much air, so you keep this. It just keep my wheels on the ground. Yep, saw that coming. Gonna do the same thing here. I'm still within the hunt. It's fine. A little bit of the speed breaker to just get a slightly sharper angle there. Oh dear. So this section, I know in particular, for whatever reason, the AI path just tends to go through there, and which means they lose a lot of speed through this section. I don't know why they tend to do that, but for whatever reason they just do. boy, oh boy. At least I knew it was coming. That's why I hit the speed breaker. Again, perfectly worth doing if you're about to experience a smack into the traffic. Just saves you losing speed. Maybe not the best for speed running, but if you're not speed running, you're just trying to win the event. It's perfectly good for that. Okay, good. They're back there right now. That's good. Don't have to worry about any defensive strategies quite yet. Though they're trying. Oh, I think they got a little bit into a mess back there. Looking at the map. Oh, they're gaining though. They're gaining. Ugh. Oh my god, that was close. That was too damn close. Oh, there they are. No, you don't. Was able to at least slow them down. Okay, good. You stay back. Managed to make that one stick. Oop, don't want to miss this, because that's going to be necessary. Yep, see? I said it would be necessary. Oh, God. No, you don't. No, you don't. I know the section coming up is their slowest section, but anything I could use to my advantage. Okay. Okay, again, like I said, this is pretty much my safest bet. Yep, they're already falling back. Why are you turning there? I know you're traffic guard, but please. Alright, everything's fine. Through there. Oof. And there we go. The longest one is out of the way, which now just leaves the final sprint event. Alrighty, so we're gonna have to make this one. We gotta make sure this one will count. Again, play defensive, because I'm gonna need to do that a little bit. Okay, alright. They might be a bit slow in this section. Oh yeah, they're absolutely taking that route again. Don't know why the AI was path to take that particular route through there, because they just run into all the side things like the light poles and the signs and all that shit. I don't know why I had a hard time getting the words out there, but whatever. English is hard. Right. Through here. Looks like they had the same idea. Oh, God. That was getting a bit scary there, but we're fine. Yikes. Okay. I should have reacted a bit sooner on that. No, you keep back. Stay at bay. Ooh. Stay back, damn it. I warned you. Oh, God. All right, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Again, this part here, they go slower because they always go through this for whatever reason. The grass is not the road. You should be touching grass, but not in this way. All right, straight through here. And they did not take it. In fact, I think them taking this particular cut through like the hospital here is it the hospital or the prison? I think it's the hospital, but them going through that particular section there, cutting it like that. Very rare for them to do that, interestingly enough. Like, you would always take the one shortcut that I've noticed some people tend to miss because they don't realize it's there in that previous event. But the very clear as day one there, they don't take. Very interesting. The important thing is right now, that has given us a hefty lead. I just got to make sure I keep it as much as I can. Right section. Oy, God, no! Stop sliding, please. Get the power down. Hey. Gotta make sure I don't get this thing into a tail slide, because that brushes off so much speed. Yeah, that's not gonna be helpful, but it could have been worse, honestly. Ooh. We're getting near the end, and they're trying. They're very much trying. Just try to cut through here some of these bits here as much as I can, including here. Oh, good. They went through that slowly, so that gives me a bit of leg room. Again, just so I'm not in the air as much. And one more use, and perfect. We did it with the Courage GT, and now we did it with the SR McLaren, and we have a table flying with us too. I believe that only means one more challenge is left. Let's go see what it is. Okay, perhaps not the most luxurious way of particularly starting this challenge off, but one that I felt was worth coming back to just because of how amusing it is just to see the difference between Marcus's very fast Aston Martin 177 and a tier 1 spec Chevrolet El Camino. Yes, this might be on the game's easiest difficulty, because if I had it on the hardest difficulty, it wouldn't be possible. How do I know it wouldn't be possible? Let's just say in certain parts where the car starts like, whoa, taxi. No, not taxi, but in certain parts where the car starts like rubber banding. Marcus, what the hell happened to you? Let's just say they'll rubber band so far away that because of the difference in speed, I would basically fall far back enough where the game would basically say I was too slow and thus force a rewind. So that's part of the reason I do it on this difficulty. It's also just funnier this way too, I guess. And I mean, hey, we got to see Marcus died. But yes, as you probably saw at the start there, the method in which I got this car was different. Last time I think I used a cheat engine, where someone just had like the table values to kind of force the car to appear, which did mean I was able to get a livery that I wanted. But this time around, I just used because people found that there was a debug menu for this game. People found ways to activate that, make it accessible, and yeah, if you start an event, you can literally just go into the debug menu and switch your car like right on the fly. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose your livery as a result, but hey, it's an option. And yeah, this is where I would say, like, if I had it on extreme difficulty where this would become a problem, is this section here. Because I did test that off screen, and yeah, he just darted away, and the game was like, Rival's getting away. And of course, because this car is tier 1 and it is slow and heavy as it is, this is why I have it on the easiest difficulty. It's kind of just a way to balance it out and make it actually a doable challenge. Because to be fair, the original person who requested the challenge never said it had to be on a specific difficulty. It just had to be done. So if this is the way to do it, then hey, it's a way to do it. I'm sure even on normal difficulty, it probably would be doable. But again, just to save myself any potential headaches, to say the least. God, This game never had particularly great handling to begin with, in my honest opinion, but man, is this El Camino heavy. Shouldn't be surprised. It's a 1970 muscle car it's technically a utility truck with a 454 engine in it. 454 cubic inch engine. But regardless, I don't mind that. It's normal. It's how this event goes. Yeah, I can imagine how not doable this challenge would be on extreme at the train bit. Yeah, I couldn't even go fast enough. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We got 10 of those. I know it's doable without that happening, but just, you know, I've kind of just fucked that up. So here's what I'm gonna do. Just kind of brush it a bit to kind of, instead of hitting the brakes. There we go. See? So long as you do it quick enough, it's doable. I just didn't do it quick enough that first time. And yeah, I know that's an ugly way of doing that corner. I don't care. Well, looks like I'm taking this with me now. This thing is this, whatever this little thing is coming with me. Oh, yeah, it's still in the back. Oh, it's gone now. The game decided no longer. So yeah, I'm purposely trying to save up most of my nitrous here. Okay. Thankfully, this part you can literally just go to the side and just kind of ride it out. So, in fact, even getting up to this thing's top speed of around 140. Why am I going that way? You can tell it's been a while. I don't particularly play this game particularly much, mostly because in all honesty, I don't particularly think it's a great Need for Speed. I know that might be controversial to some, but I don't know. There's certain things about this game that I don't feel. That I feel are just not particularly as good as some of the others. Mostly the handling for me. This game's physics engine, not great. And yet, I know it's not just because I'm driving an El Camino, even though it'd be very understandable if people thought this was why. But even with one of the more better handling cars, it's honestly still not great, in my honest opinion. It's just, yeah, it's just funny to see, like, myself being able to kind of just get, like, nearby him. Again, I'm just keeping my nitrous. I have, like, no reason to use it because, again, I'm not, in this part of the area, I'm not being timed. There's no trains I gotta worry about. Plus, once we get to a very particular point, it's not like it's gonna matter anyways because, Mr. Rubber Band's gonna kick in any moment now. Yep, right there, in fact. That's actually, maybe a little bit later. I was a bit premature. Should be around now, I think. Somewhere. Yep, there it is. That's the moment where it kicks in. And then, but yes, again, that's supposed to happen. It's just, it's the game is just, that's just predetermined, pre-scripted by the game, so. And now I can just do this. And tell him to fuck off. Necessary to do with this because of how the rubber banding works? No. Worth doing because it's being funny? Yes, absolutely. So yeah, there we go. With that is 10 challenges I have officially revisited. And in a way is basically the sort of reboot for this series of videos to come back onto my YouTube channel. So with that, that's means I can go ahead and now open the door to other challenges that you all might want to throw at me. To get an idea of the games I have on hand, please make sure to check out my description, because I will have a massive games list of all the racing games and such that I happen to own. Try to prevent it from being like anything too overly long for reasons, because I don't have all day, obviously. Yeah, other than that though, it's been fun to come back to these and see that I'm still capable of doing these even these years later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to check out some of my other videos. Again, check out the game catalog in the description down below. I will also have it as a pinned comment. And until then, you all have a good day and a better tomorrow, and take care.